What is going on, everybody? Phil here for KO Gaming, and welcome to the Hateful Truth Rebooted, my gaming review series where I give you maximum truth and minimum bullshit regarding the latest video game releases. Today we're going to be talking about a reboot. And you know, when game developers reach back into the past and resurrect these series that have been gone for quite some time for the present day, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Doom is a classic, quintessential game series when it comes to first-person shooting. Those who've been around the block and are longtime gamers like myself know that this series has been known to be synonymous with greatness since the very beginning when Doom was launched in the 1990s. Doom had a reboot way back in 2004 with Doom 3. A lot of people were on the fence about that one, saying that it was too much of a departure from the classic Doom formula. And so here we are in 2016 with Doom once again being brought out from the past by id Software. Is it good? Is it bad? That's what I'm here to tell you, so here we go. In the case of this modern Doom reboot, id Software went to go super hardcore fan base and basically make an homage to the original games from the 1990s. Unlike Doom 3 from 2004 that took the series in a different direction, more survival horror-esque, this game is very much like those original first-person shooters that put that style of game on the map. The hardcore gauntlets of enemies that are coming out of every single corner to surprise you. Just you and a small, loadout of guns, running around, trying to run and gun, circle strafe around them, survive as much as you can, picking up health power-ups and armor power-ups along the way, as well as looking for secrets, hidden clues, and collectibles throughout these maps. That's exactly what you can expect from the gameplay of the Doom reboot. And I really think this was smart because Doom 3 was strongly criticized back in 2004 for taking the series in a completely different direction, and although it was a sales hit, it never was really followed up upon. Now is the opportunity to bring back that smash mouth, hardcore, grueling, gauntlet style of gameplay that lots of us grew up with in the 90s, and I think if that's what they were going for, they definitely hit it. Let's talk game modes. There's three primary ones in Doom. First of all, Campaign, which is going to be a 10 to 13 hour long, pretty epic length, survival style campaign where you are one-man army trying to run and gun through the demon legions of hell that are invading Mars. Then you've got Multiplayer, featuring two separate different playlists of rotating maps such as Team Deathmatch, objective-based gameplay such as Domination or Warpath, and even some unique only one life style matches such as Clan Arena. And then you've got SnapMap, which the best way I can describe SnapMap would be think Super Mario Maker, only in the Doom first-person shooter world. You're provided with a big tool set in order to create your own stages, and then you can share those with the world for thousands of people all around the globe to enjoy online. So three completely separate different modes to choose from. That's a lot of content for $60 in this day and age. Let's start with the campaign. The campaign stars you, the Marine or Doom guy, who's resurrected in some kind of a bizarre ritual right from the get-go. You run and grab your armor, pick up a very minimal weapon set, and away you go, off into Mars, which is being invaded by the hordes of hellish demons. Over the course of the game, you're going to get very minimal story development, although there will be some key characters who you'll get to know and maybe like or dislike dependent on your own flavor. But basically the story is, demons are invading from hell, humans somehow helped them, it's your job to jump between hell and back, trying to find a way to close the gate and seal these demons off from invading our dimension permanently. Although, I'll be honest, the story really does take a back seat. The campaign of Doom is primarily focused on the gameplay, of which there are basically two facets. First, the combat. And of course, like I said, this game is a total throwback to classic Doom. No regenerating health here. Your health is your health, and you're going to have to be finding health power-ups and or armor to put on your body to protect you from the damage that these crazy demons will be throwing at you. Speaking of the demons, you may recognize most of them because almost every single enemy in this reboot is from the original Doom franchise, which is freaking awesome to see modernized versions of some of your favorite enemies brought back for the modern era almost 20 years after you originally saw them. The gunplay, again, very reminiscent of the classic Dooms. You'll have a limited amount of weapons to start. If you search further, you may find more weapons than if you just come across them randomly during the story, which eventually you will, but it is cool to really search these maps fully and try to find stuff early, just like it was possible in the original Doom games. You're going to be running and gunning, you're going to be circle strafing, eventually you'll have a double jump, although you don't have it from the get-go. You're also going to do a little bit of platforming, which is kind of cool, because in the original Dooms, this was a big part of it. Now you can actually control your character a little bit better with modernized, stylized controls, and that's nice. But for the most part, the game is a gauntlet of enemies. There's going to be enemies that'll just be there, enemies that warp in, and every once in a while, there'll actually be one of these disgusting teleportation devices which you'll attack, which then forces a gauntlet of enemies to come and attack you, and now you're basically in survival mode. You're locked into a certain area of the map until you kill all of those enemies and reach a checkpoint, and then finally you can progress on. In addition to just the gunplay, you're going to be looking for secrets like crazy. Just like the original Doom games, there are tons of hidden areas in the Doom reboot. Whether it's just a little tunnel that you didn't see, or maybe there's a hidden switch that you can pull to reveal a classic throwback Doom map, very reminiscent to those of the original games in the 1990s. These are really cool Easter eggs that add to the length of the game, but also add to the quality. And, you know, this is what the major collection gameplay of the original Doom games was like, and that's when I say it's a throwback. It certainly feels like it. Now, why do you want to do these secrets? Two reasons. First of all, to find extra health, extra ammo, extra weapons early on, and also to earn upgrade points. Because there are two new systems in Doom's campaign that I want to talk about. The first being the upgrade system. As you play through the game, you're going to earn weapon upgrade points. As you earn these points, you're able to add new abilities and customizations to your weapons that make them better. So, for example, even though you have a shotgun, you may have the ability later on to make that shotgun shoot a grenade. You may have a plasma rifle, but later on you may have the ability to let that plasma rifle knock back enemies. So basically it gives a secondary fire kind of feature to your weapons. Now each weapon has two of these features that you can switch between on the fly once you've earned them and unlocked them. And these weapon upgrade points, which are earned by looking at different secrets and also just overcoming overwhelming hordes of enemies, can be used to upgrade the weapon slowly. There's also armor points, which you find when you find a corpse that maybe has a suit of armor similar to yours. You pick up a little microchip off their body, and now you can upgrade your armor with all kinds of things, such as being able to switch weapons quicker on the fly, or maybe platforming a little faster on the fly, and other certain kinds of things that just make the game a little bit easier. The other new feature of the Doom reboot is the melee combat system called Glory Kills. Unlike the previous Doom games, once you deal enough damage to an enemy, they'll eventually get stunned and start to glow. By using your right thumbstick, you can now attack that enemy and immediately insta-kill it, forcing that enemy to drop health power-ups on the ground. Now, through further upgrades later in the game, you'll also make those enemies drop armor and ammo, making the Glory Kill system absolutely necessary for some of these long gauntlet-style fights you're going to be going through in the campaign in order to survive. So even though the game is a total throwback to classic Doom and has a lot of real, direct associations with it, there is still enough modernized gameplay mechanics to make the game feel fresh and great, and that's what makes this game so unique and awesome. So regarding the campaign, as I've stated, it's about 10 to 13 hours long, having actual 13 chapters in it, each chapter lasting anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes, depending on how much time you take to actually run around and search for the secrets, some of which can be pretty easy to come across and others are pretty daunting. In fact, in my playthrough, even though I actively was searching for a lot of them, in a few stages I was just totally stumped and had to move on because I just could not find them. Now, what I really loved about the campaign, it was number one, of course, all of those references to classic Doom. The nostalgia juices were flowing and were at a maximum level. Number two, the graphics of Doom. Now, I played this on the PlayStation 4, and all of the footage you're seeing is direct capture, full 60 frames per second, an amazing amount of detail. It was so cool to see these enemies from the 1990s be rendered in modern graphical design, but also to see them in full fluid motion as you're circle strafing around and just shooting them like crazy and doing these crazy glory kill executions. Pretty damned awesome, and I have to say I was blown away by the graphical performance of Doom. There are some boss fights as well. I'm not going to actually spoil those boss fights in this video because I want them to be a surprise. Yes, some of them are returning, and 1 or 2 of them are actually genuinely new characters for the series. They're pretty awesome. I really enjoyed it, and overall, when I finally completed the campaign of Doom, I wanted more. I was like, man, I hope there's a DLC expansion. I hope they make a sequel, because I had so much nostalgia just playing through this game and saying, man, I wish the games were still like this instead of this watered-down silliness that you get with a lot of these modern shooters with their crazy amounts of auto-generating health and stupid weapons that are just so ridiculous. I love the more classic style shooter. I had a ton of fun with the campaign of Doom. The only criticism I would actually give it is that, yes, a lot of the times you're going to be doing tons of repetitive gameplay against the same kind of enemies over and over and over. That's the point of Doom. It's trying to be like the classics, but give it a modern twist. I think a lot of game reviewers who've played this game actually quoted it as being derivative and repetitive, even though they don't understand because they never played the originals, that's exactly what they're trying to go for. The feeling that it's you against an endless army of demons. It's a one-man army. You're supposed to feel like it's unsurmountable odds, and you really have to take the time to look for all the secrets and upgrades and master the combat engine in order to survive. That's the point. And if you don't get that, then don't fucking review the game without a frame of reference from playing the original Dooms. For what they were trying to do, id Software hit it dead on the head, and I really enjoyed the campaign. But certainly I don't want to downplay the multiplayer of Doom either. Wow, again, another amazing throwback to that classic style arena deathmatch kind of deal that you had back in the late 90s and early 2000s. Very reminiscent of games such as Quake, Quake 3 Arena, and Unreal Tournament. You're going to be using the basic loadouts from the game, the campaign of Doom, but you're going to be able to customize that loadout over time. There's various different game modes, such as Deathmatch, Warpath, where there's actually an objective that you need to capture, but it moves live through the stage, and so your team has to kind of stay with it in order to control it on the fly. There's also Domination and other standard game modes that you probably are pretty familiar with based on other first-person shooters of this style. The one unique thing about Doom multiplayer not only is that it is this kind of smash-mouth run-and-gun gameplay. No, there's no wall running, there's no ridiculous flying, there's no warping in droids and fucking kill streak bullshit. No, it's you run, you kill, you do your objective, you win. That simple. But there is a variable in the demon configurations. Basically, as you play through the game, you're going to unlock not only weapons in multiplayer and also armor types to make your character look unique, but you're also going to be unlocking demons. There are 4 of them in the game: the Revenant, the Mancubus, the Baron, and the Prowler, all 4 of which play completely uniquely. At one point during most multiplayer matches, an icon will appear saying, oh, a demon rune has appeared. Whoever touches the demon rune becomes this overpowered demon with a huge health bar and pretty amazing abilities. You get to try to get as many kills as you want during this time frame. You either do it until you run out of health or until the time runs down and then you transform back to a human. Once this happens, that demon rune then is open and up for grabs for someone else to take. And it's pretty cool if you have a team, taking down a demon and then one of your teammates grabs the demon room, becomes the demon, and completely flips the match on its head because now you have that overpowered character. It's fun, it's different, it's certainly new, added to a multiplayer formula, and it was a ton of fun. So, the multiplayer of Doom, not only is it, again, a throwback to the classic games from the PC era, again, runs at a beautiful 60 frames per second, has a plethora of game modes, has new additions such as this demon system that make it feel unique and different and way differentiated from the other first-person games with competitive gameplay out there today. The last mode of the Doom reboot is called SnapMap. Now, at first I was intrigued by the premise of being able to create your own maps in the game and checking out user-created content. Everyone who knows me knows I really don't enjoy creating my own stuff. I'd rather just play what other people have done. Unfortunately, on the PlayStation 4, SnapMap is pretty much the most underwhelming feature right now. Keep in mind, I am reviewing this game only 5 days after its release in the United States, so really people haven't had a lot of time to work with this engine and work out the kinks and make a lot of levels. The very few levels that I were able to play were very underwhelming, some of which had some pretty bad game bugs, like enemies just floating and appearing before they were supposed to, warping through walls, pretty bad stuff. In addition, trying to actually vote up a map after I had played it completely crashed my game. One time I tried to join one map and the game for some reason put me into another one. And even just trying to get the lobby system to work to play some of these games in a multiplayer kind of style doesn't work very much. I could definitely see SnapMap having potential in the long run, but at least for now, on the PlayStation 4, it seems like more of an afterthought. There's so much content just between the campaign and the multiplayer that unless you really have sucked everything dry, you're probably not going to be too interested in this unless you're one of those people that absolutely loves creating their own levels. Then I say take a stab at it. It's absolutely nice that it's there. It would have been nice if it was a little bit more functional or interesting, but for now, I kind of say, meh, something that I'll ignore, but other people might be interested in. And so ultimately, weighing everything in regards to the Doom reboot, I'm actually going to score it a 9 out of 10 with an asterisk. That asterisk being the following. I am a fan of the original Doom franchise from the 1990s, and I understand what id Software is trying to do with this game. I feel that they massively succeeded, and that's why the game is a huge success. If you don't have that frame of reference, you're probably not going to get it, and you're going to say, I don't understand why the game's so hard. I don't understand why it doesn't have all these modern gameplay mechanics like regenerating health. It seems repetitive and derivative. And I unfortunately think that a lot of the mainstream review sites who most people go to for game reviews had reviewers who didn't have the proper frame of reference. I'm happy that I actually do, so I can tell you if you're a fan of that or if you're looking for something more simplified but also more difficult, you're going to like Doom. If you want the more modern shooters with their twitchiness and insta-fucking scoping, no-scoping, headshot, fucking droid summoning, giant airstrike, bombing, wall-running bullshit, there's plenty of games like that out there for you to play. Doom is not that game, but for those of us that want a more pure first-person shooter experience equivalent to something like Quake 3 Arena or Unreal Tournament, the game is finally here, and I really hope that people look past those mainstream reviewers that everyone seems to read and instead trust people like me who know the frame of reference and tell you this game is great, check it out. I would love for Doom to become a long-standing franchise yet again in the first-person shooter genre and give all these other over-bloated franchises a run for their money, but that's all in your hands. If you trust me, and if you like that classic style of gameplay, check out Doom, you're gonna love it. Well, that's gonna do it for my review of Doom. Thanks for watching, and I sure hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider giving it a like here on YouTube, and in addition, please check the video description. There you'll find links to both my full campaign as well as multiplayer gameplay of Doom. Also, you'll find an Amazon Associates link, as well as my Patreon, so please give it a look. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time on The Hateful Truth Rebooted. Peace out.